generations come with obviously, infinite amount of individual variations, but basically they come in four fundamental archetypes, right? And we can talk about those if you want, but each has a certain location in history, a what we call the prophet archetype, of which boomers are a good example, always comes of age during the awakenings, right?
Yeah.
And what we call the hero archetype, of which my parents, I don't know about your parents, Jim, but certainly my parents were part of that.
Yeah, World War II generation.
Yeah, is the hero archetype. And what we notice is they have all kinds of things in common. That is, if you belong to an archetype, there are all sorts of parallels about being raised according to that archetype, which are very similar to each other across history, which is sort of surprising given that, over centuries of history, technology changes, standard of living changes. But this basic interaction of public and private, inner and outer, seems to be a fundamental rhythm. And it obviously, too, has consequences for where we are today, right? Look at where we are.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You dare.
Yeah.
So we are in the fourth turning. We are in the next crisis era of history on time, right? On schedule.
Yeah.
And we predicted that in our original book. Well, actually, Bill and I wrote our first book that suggested this rhythm back in 1991. It's a book called Generations: The History of America's Future. That's the book where we actually coined the millennial generation label. So if you want to know where that comes from, and then a few years later, I guess about 6 years later,
97.
97. We did the fourth turning. But my gosh, that's over 25 years ago.
Yeah.